Pope Francis, born Jorge Mario Bergoglio, was one of the most recognizable spiritual leaders in modern history. At the age of 88, the world mourns the loss of a man who transformed the papacy with humility, compassion, and a deep commitment to the marginalized. His death marks the end of a historic era. The first pope from Latin America, the first Jesuit pope, and a religious leader who consistently chose simplicity over grandeur. From the moment he stepped onto the balcony in 2013, dressed in plain white without the traditional cape, Pope Francis sent a clear message. This would be a papacy focused not on power, but on service. Over the years, he became known for his direct engagement with ordinary people, his bold stances on climate change, poverty, and compassion for all, regardless of background. In this documentary, we'll explore the details of his passing, his family and siblings, his early years in Argentina, his rise to the highest office in the Catholic Church, his modest lifestyle, and the true measure of his net worth. But beyond numbers and titles, this is a story about a man who, in his own words, sought a church that is poor and for the poor. At 88 years old, Pope Francis passed away after a series of health challenges that had increasingly limited his mobility and stamina in recent years. According to official Vatican sources, his death was related to complications following a respiratory infection, exacerbated by his long history of lung problems. As a young man, Francis had part of one lung removed due to severe pneumonia. This never stopped his ministry, but it did make him more vulnerable to respiratory illnesses later in life. In the past decade, he also battled knee pain, sciatica, and underwent surgery for a colon condition in 2021. In the days leading up to his passing, the Vatican reported that his health had taken a sudden turn. The faithful around the world held vigils, praying for his recovery. Despite his declining condition, Francis reportedly remained mentally alert and spent his final hours in prayer and conversation with close aides. When the news broke, bells rang at St. Peter's Basilica, and crowds gathered in St. Peter's Square, many in tears. Leaders from across the globe, Catholic and non-Catholic alike, issued statements recognizing his role in promoting peace, dialogue, and compassion. His final public blessing, given just weeks before his death, now stands as a poignant reminder of his enduring love for humanity. Jorge Mario Bergoglio was born on December 17, 1936, in Buenos Aires, Argentina, to Italian immigrant parents, Mario Jose Bergoglio and Regina Maria Savori. Growing up in a modest home in the Flores neighborhood, young Jorge learned the values of hard work, humility, and community from an early age. He attended a local technical school and initially pursued a career in chemistry, working as a technician in a food laboratory. But a profound spiritual calling redirected his path toward the priesthood. This was not a sudden decision. He had wrestled with the idea for years, balancing his love for science with a deepening sense of religious purpose. His early years in Argentina were shaped by the vibrant mix of cultures, the challenges of post-war migration, and the strong Catholic traditions of his family. These formative experiences helped shape his later commitment to immigrants, the poor, and the working class. Pope Francis grew up as the eldest of 5 siblings: Maria Elena, Oscar Adrian, Marta Regina, and Alberto Horacio. His sister Maria Elena, the only surviving sibling at the time of his death, often spoke warmly about their childhood and her brother's quiet but determined nature. Family life was close-knit and filled with laughter despite financial modesty. His parents instilled in their children the importance of faith, honesty, and service to others. In later years, Francis often spoke fondly of his family, crediting them with nurturing his humility and sense of justice. Entering the Society of Jesus, Jesuits, in 1958, Bergoglio took vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience, eventually becoming a priest in 1969. His rise within the Jesuit ranks was marked by his commitment to simplicity and hands-on ministry. He became Archbishop of Buenos Aires in 1998, where he famously rejected the Archbishop's luxurious residence, opting to live in a small apartment and use public transport. His pastoral style was direct and personal, often visiting slums and advocating for the poor in the face of political and economic instability. The resignation of Pope Benedict XVI in 2013 opened the way for Bergoglio's election. When chosen, he took the name Francis in honor of Saint Francis of Assisi, a saint known for his devotion to the poor. His papacy was characterized by outreach to refugees, marginalized communities, and even those outside the Catholic faith. He championed environmental care with his encyclical Laudato Si, called for economic justice, and urged dialogue in a polarized world. True to his vows, Francis avoided the luxuries traditionally associated with the papacy. He lived in the Casa Santa Marta guest house, ate simple meals, and wore plain white cassocks without ornate decorations. He preferred a small Ford Focus over expensive cars and valued personal interaction over formalities. Unlike celebrities or politicians, popes do not accumulate vast personal fortunes. Pope Francis's personal net worth before becoming pope was minimal. As pontiff, his needs were covered by the Vatican, but he directed church resources toward humanitarian projects and financial reform. Francis's papacy was marked by bold reforms, addressing clergy's sexual abuse scandals, promoting environmental sustainability, and emphasizing mercy over judgment. He worked to bring transparency to Vatican finances and extended compassion to groups historically marginalized by the Church. In his final weeks, Francis spoke openly about mortality, telling visitors to pray for me, but above all, pray for the Church. His death leaves a legacy of humility, reform, and unwavering focus on the dignity of every human being. His life story will continue to inspire future generations of faith leaders. Don't forget to like this video, comment below, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.